Have you ever wondered how a technical organization gets work done? Well, here you're going to learn about engineering operations. And this, when you pick this tip up, you're going to be able to understand the flow of work and be able to get work done through the organization as it is. You'll be able to move work forward. And there's a premium on getting things done. Now, the financial part is in a different session, but here we're going to focus on lining up the people. So first, we need to learn how people are hired, but also how people are tasked to projects. Then, there's a rule set we have to follow, not only in bringing in people, but also doing the engineering work, even working finance, how to reserve resources. Which brings us to the third tip, which is identifying where, how, and with what resources the job will get done. And this could be anything from lining up the technical equipment needed, even the computers. So office space as well. Maybe there's a way a project requests office space that is different. The resources could be anything from, if you're at an auto company, a test track. So you need to reserve track time to test out the new car, or an environmental chamber perhaps. If you're doing some testing. Even resources like something called a shaker table. You put something on and it shakes it, and maybe you put a phone there and you make sure the phone can handle some vibration, and you might need a lab where you do a drop test on a phone. You drop the phone and you need space for all that, and then figure out what breaks it, what works, does the glass crack, and everything. So all this needs to be lined up. Now, a well-funded project would be able to reserve these resources, but we need to sort of know how to do that, because the people we work with, they expect us to do our jobs a certain way, particularly if we're new. And if we go off doing our own thing, we're just going to confuse people, and confusing people a lot of times is the same as annoying people. And these are people we need to help us do our job, like to run the test track or to line up office space. Now, for people, there are two options there. We can have matrix people who we bring in. Let's say a subject matter expert. We might matrix them in for a couple months. Sometimes there'll be a line organization, that is responsible for a given part. Now, a final word on guidance. A lot of times I like to hit this hard because it'll give you the wisdom to just know what happened on the last program and not repeat the same mistakes. So if you can come in, even if you're new, and you make suggestions, you move your work forward in a way that's cognizant of the wisdom from the previous program, that's going to put you in demand. You're going to be trusted more, and you'll be viewed as just having a little more awareness of the engineering history of the group. So, now, in summary, operations, it's the rule set we have to follow, who's going to create the product, where, how, and with what resources we're going to do it. There's another session on finance that we'll talk about, knowing how the money works. That's important also, and that's also part of operations. And if you can at least know what questions to ask and look for these, you're going to be in the know, and you're going to have more influence and more effectivity in your job. Message me if this resonates, if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next session.